Hi, this is Hussain coming to you direct from London, the United Kingdom, and welcome to another episode of the SMMA Mastermind podcast, where we talk about how you can start or scale your digital marketing agency. Now, if you are watching this episode outside of our Facebook group for marketing agencies, for digital marketing agencies, make sure to find the link above or below this video, or go to smmamastermind.com. Now, with that out of the way, I have a very special guest joining me all the way from Orlando in Florida. Probably not Disney World, but close enough. His name is Gerald Francis, and he is a digital marketing consultant with MunchEm. And what we are going to talk about today are restaurant marketing secrets. So Gerald, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for joining me.
Yes, of course. I'm glad to be on.
Thank you. Now, for the people who don't know who you are, why don't you give a bit of an introduction into, I suppose, a bit of your background and how you got into the digital marketing space?
Perfect. Yeah, so my background, I am originally from El Salvador, a small nation in Central America. And my background started when I was in high school and I was trying to find a way to make a living. I know I'm a bit young, but when you see like nice shoes and people wearing these nice watches, you want to see if you can get it as well. So I started looking for ways to get into marketing. And so I started looking for freelancing gigs, and that's how I started doing marketing.
Awesome. Now, MunchEm, is that your own agency, or are you working with a digital marketing agency right now?
Yeah, so MunchEm is a online ordering company for restaurants, small local restaurants, and so I'm an in-house marketing. I do a lot of the advertisements as well as the SEO components of the company.
Okay, great. So you're already working within the restaurant space.
Yes.
I suppose, we are globally going through a huge pandemic. Some countries are doing better than others, but undoubtedly, the restaurant trade has been hit quite hard. How has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted your business?
Right. So restaurants do need to keep operating. They need to keep orders flowing, so they can pay their staff and everything. So we've seen an increase in restaurants wanting to join our platform because of the online ordering capabilities. So I believe we've grown during the pandemic, and that's why we want to help restaurants more than ever.
Okay, that makes sense. So are you seeing kind of an exponential growth in the amount of orders coming in online, especially as people might be more scared to dine in, or what kind of trends are you seeing?
Yeah, so currently we have a client called 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗲𝗲 Italian restaurant. It's a local Italian restaurant here in Orlando. Really good food, by the way. We've seen that their orders have spiked pretty good during this pandemic. As you know, people don't really want to go out or anything like that. So we've seen their orders go up, and as well as other clients of ours, their orders have increased significantly during the pandemic.
That's great. Now, a lot of restaurants out there and restaurant owners out there are obviously not very digital savvy. So what can a restaurant do to utilize digital marketing, social media marketing to increase their customer base and revenues?
Right. So what restaurants need to keep in mind is that when clients are looking for somewhere to eat, they want to see reviews, they want to see high quality, they want to see a good value proposition. So restaurants need to take, really good pictures, show off their content, show off their restaurant. You don't even have to have like a large budget or anything. You just have to take really good pictures and show your clients having a really good time. And that's what actually entices customers to go to your restaurant and actually dine in and things like that.
I mean, you've touched on pictures, which obviously, they say visual storytelling is very important. Where would restaurant owners be using these pictures to expand their profiles?
Right. So you can either do it through social media and grow it organically, or you can actually do Google ads and do like display ads and things like that. So there are various ways to do it. The most important thing, honestly, is finding the right target audience or finding the right demographics. And that's how you can really, find what you want to show based on that information.
Okay. So if a restaurant owner was to approach you, I suppose, and they wanted to kind of start doing, I suppose, be more visible online, what would you suggest they do as the first couple of steps?
Right. So the first steps when it comes to finding, what areas to improve is looking at the website itself. Content is most important. While ads are good for advertising to restaurants and different customers and things like that, I think content and really finding, content that really suits your website and that is interactive for the client. I think that's the most important thing for a client's website and presence in social media.
When you're talking about content on the website, do you have some specific examples?
Yeah, so I know some restaurants now have like newsletter types that they post on their restaurant website, as well as some blog type of content. Blogging is very important, and a lot of restaurants don't really take the time to do it. Of course, they're operating a restaurant, so it's understandable. But if you can bring blogs and kind of show your story, demonstrate your restaurant's history, I think that's the most important thing that can actually keep clients engaged and actually entice them to convert into your restaurant.
And I suppose blogs are nice when you have brand awareness and people are coming to your website and they, I suppose, get to see a bit more than just your menu. Now, if a restaurant is not showing on Google, what can they do to appear in the My Google business listings or organically when someone is hungry and looking to order right now?
Yes, of course. First thing that we usually do to try to, separate themselves in Google is do schema markups, or also known as structured data or structured rich snippet data. That's one way to do it. I know it sounds complex, but it's very simple once you do it. There's a bunch of sites out there that can generate schema markups for your restaurant, and that way you can actually tag like recipes that you might have for your clients or for your customers, or information about the restaurant. That is one way to do it. And for Google My Business, it is important to post updates regularly about like offers you have in your restaurant, or post more photos even. That's very simple. Just really show that you're active in engaging with the customers. I think that's a very good way to go about it.
So you need to kind of get started with Google My Business and then do the snippets on the website. I mean, you are clearly a very talented and a very technical person. For someone who is not as technical as you, is there somewhere they could go to get their website structured so that it appears within Google itself?
Yeah, so I mean, like I discussed with like the newsletters and things like that, what's most important is really having the most up-to-date content on your website. Even if you don't have the time or the budget to do schema markups, you can just simply start posting newsletters or posting updates about restaurant plates, or even having events on your website like live streaming things, or even posting videos about your restaurant. Those are things that can bring more attention to your website, and as well as Google's spiders. If they notice that you have very good content and largely worded, not just like 600 word blogs, but actually really took the time to do it and have it really nicely organized, I think that's one way to really bring attention to your website by Google and customers.
And you also mentioned obviously kind of maintaining your Google My Business listing.
Yeah.
How do you tackle people who come and leave negative reviews? Because obviously that impacts the number of stars that appear, and it might put some potential customers off.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so how do you tackle a negative review is by bringing positivity, because if you engage with them in a very negative way, then it's just going to keep on going. And you need to review your customer service practices, because people just want to feel good in your restaurant. They want to have a good service. Usually people aren't super picky about everything, but that's why you really need to step up your customer service levels. So when someone leaves like a negative review, try to offer them, like, hey, if you come back, we can give you like a dessert or, some benefit. So that way the customer, can review the review and really think about what they posted. I think that's one way to turn around bad reviews.
And, there's lot of listings within the Google My Business listings where they don't have a website. So you come across a restaurant, has wonderful reviews, 4 out of 5, has people leaving comments, people uploading pictures, and they don't have a website. So how important is having a website to actually being found on Google?
It's very important. I know that some restaurants might not have the budget or the availability to, manage a website. So I think it's important to, do a little WordPress site, try it out, see how it feels, or just, instead of investing so much in ads and things like that, try to put some budget aside and start a website, because at the end of the day, if your restaurant has a good website, people are going to find you. And if you have online ordering in it, you can actually generate more than you usually do during the month, because you include other demographics that usually just go to your restaurant,
Okay. And I suppose people can also use services such as Wix.com and
Yeah.
Square Online and all of that. So if someone is looking to invest in online advertising, where is the best place for them to put their money?
For restaurants, I believe Google Ads and Facebook Ads are the two best that they should focus on. And focus on bringing attention. You can do it by doing display advertising. That's one way to really bring attention to your restaurant, and really having a set budget, not changing it, every day or anything like that. Really have a set budget. You don't have to have a massive budget. It just really depends on your ad quality and the type of content you advertise. So it's all about that.
Okay. And you've mentioned Google display advertising. So for people who don't know what a display ad is, it's those banners that follow you around, I suppose, on other websites that you're visiting. I mean, have you had any great case studies that you could share in terms of online advertising that you guys have run?
Yeah, so currently we just got off a meeting with a client of ours. It's 𝗢𝗿𝗀𝗏. We had some really good results from his campaign. We didn't spend that much a day, but we generated some good results. And I wrote really compelling ads and really, brought the best points of his restaurant and what he has to offer. And that's how you really, entice a customer. We also did display advertising for our platform 𝗥𝗲𝘀𝗏𝗏, which we really are getting some really good results. We get like 30 and upwards a day of clicks and interactions. And that way we can really start generating, conversions. So I think it's mostly about how you make an ad and how, what points you bring to the ad, like what you highlight of your company, then how much you spend,
And if someone wants to run an ad, do they need to run an offer? Do they need to offer an online coupon? I'm guessing that you need to lead with some sort of an incentive.
Yes. So when you run an ad, you got to keep in mind that there are thousands of other people competing with you. So the more real estate you can take up on the ad, the more offers, the more highlights you can put in about your restaurant or your business, the more people are going to click on it. Because if you really demonstrate your business and add coupons and things like that, that's how you can actually increase your conversions on advertising.
So in terms of putting an offer out there, what does a good offer look like? Obviously, no business owner wants to give their food for free. What offers work well?
Yeah, so the best offers that I've seen are BOGOs. So like if you buy one plate, you get another one like half off or even free. I've seen that. That's really good. If they can put the code, if you put a code on the ad extension and then they can put it into the checkout cart, I think that's one way to do a really good coupon. Also, if you can put like images or like an image that has like 50% off clearly labeled in the image, then that can actually be eye-catching, and then that could bring some some customers to your website and convert. So images and things like that, I think that's a really good way to go about putting coupons in ads.
Okay. And how important is it to promote, I suppose, online ordering versus making a reservation to come dine in? What works better when you're spending money on marketing your restaurant?
Right. So I guess traditionally people would reserve and, take the time to call and, go about it that way. But that's usually more in like the holidays, like Father's Day and things like that. I think that's when you can ramp it up and actually start putting reservations as a priority. But usually during like normal days where there are no holidays or anything like that, I think it's better to promote your restaurant via online ordering and actually, start getting, online orders and double your profit each month. I think that's the best way to go about that.
Okay. And in terms of, I suppose, setting up an online ordering system for restaurants that have not got some sort of electronic point of sale or something set up, what are some of the services available that they could tap into?
Yeah, so our platform in that aspect is very unique because if they don't have a system set up or anything like that, we usually set it up for them. We usually just go by suggesting Clover or, depending on how much volume each restaurant is getting and how much, they want to spend. Usually Clover would be the number one pick. But that's what our platform kind of does. We kind of get in contact with the restaurant and really find out, what their strengths are and how much sales they're generating and that kind of
thing. Okay. And I suppose in terms of day-to-day social media management, most restaurants will not have an in-house digital marketing person or even a marketing person, to be honest. It will be owner-operators who are running their social media and doing most of this online stuff. So, I mean, how often does someone need to be active on their social media? What kind of content should they be posting? And how would they measure the impact of their social media? That's 3 questions in one. So
yeah, very good. No worries. So for the first one, how often someone would need to post on social media. So I know restaurant owners are super busy. They don't really have the time to go around taking pictures of people eating their food. So what I suggest is that, say you assign an employee for like, let's say a week to take like some really good pictures, or like when a new recipe comes out or a new plate or things like that. I think that's when you can take advantage of that if you really don't have the time to do it. When things like, or even events, like let's say you have like a movie dinner night or something like that, you can take advantage of that. You can take pictures of that. So I think it's better to highlight the most important events if you're scarce on time, and then post it rather than, posting every little thing. But if you do have the time to do it, I would assign an employee, who's got some background in it, and then let them take pictures of customers enjoying their food.
Okay.
So that's
that makes sense. And how do you measure the impact, I suppose, which is more important than pictures?
Yeah, of course. So in that aspect, you can either do it through Google Analytics. It's a very good tool. It's free by Google. Anything usually done by Google is a really good tool, very intuitive. You can set that up, have a specialist set it up for you, a freelancer or something like that. And then you can actually drill down by, what sources visit you the most, so you can actually see if Instagram visited you, users visited you, or Facebook, or just organically, and that way you can actually see where you can allocate your funds and time to, where you can advertise.
Okay, cool. So I mean, you've kind of talked quite a bit about your platform that you have. So final question for you: what kind of services your agency or your business offering to restaurant owners?
So our business primarily wants to help out the local community, especially the local restaurants or even coffee shops or local bars. We want to give them the tools that the big boys like Uber Eats and DoorDash and even Chow Now has. And we want to bring it at a good value. That way they can actually, increase their sales and bring in more of the community. So we're very community oriented, very locally oriented.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the services. And then we have empowered marketing, which I'm mainly involved in, which is basically trying to bring more awareness via digital advertising and search engine optimization for restaurants.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, on that note, Gerald Francis, thank you very much for your time. If you are a restaurant owner, do check out Gerald's profile. I'm sure he can help you a lot. If he's discussed anything here that kind of piques your interest, whether it's Google Analytics or display advertising, find him on LinkedIn and connect with him. So Gerald, on that note, thank you very much.
You too. Thank you so much for your time.